Call to order the City Council meeting for the City of East Grand Forks, Tuesday, April 21st, 2020 is now 5 o'clock. Would City Clerk please call roll?
Mayor Steve Gander.
Here.
Council President Mark Alstead.
Here.
Council Vice President Chad Grassel.
Here.
Council Members Clarence Vetter.
Here.
Dale Helms.
Here.
Tim Riepel.
Here.
Tim Johnson.
Here.
Mark Demers.
Present.
Does determine quorum, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have approval of minutes. Consider approving the minutes of a regular meeting for East Grand Forks, Minnesota City Council for April 7th, 2020.
Move.
Who is that?
Mark Demers.
Mr. Demers.
Second.
Second by Mr. Riepel.
Tim. Yep.
Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Vetter.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Alstead.
Yes.
Grassel.
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Scheduled bid lettings done. Scheduled public hearings done. Consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda will be adopted with one motion. However, council members may request individual items be pulled from the consent agenda for discussion and action if they choose. Would any members like two or three pulled at this time?
I'd like to pull two.
What was that?
I'd like to pull two.
Poll number 2. Okay. Anybody else? If not, entertain a motion for number 3.
Move. Mrs. Leonard.
Moved by Clarence.
Correct.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion on number 3? See none, roll call, please.
Vetter.
Yes.
Helms.
Yes.
Riepel.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Alstead.
Yes.
Grassel.
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried for number 3. Entertain a motion to consider approving the purchase of a 2020 John Deere 244L loader and MAI snow blade for a total of $106,084 for Parks and Recreation Department. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Grassel, second by who?
Demers.
Mr. Demers. Questions or discussion? Mr. Demers.
Thank you, Mr. President. This question for Mr. Hootenen. Does this price reflect, or were we able to get an amended quote from one of the vendors, and does this price reflect that?
Yes, can you guys hear me? I'm in on telephone here.
Yes.
We did get an amended quote after the work session last week from one of the two vendors priced on this. When that quote came in, I talked with Mr. Murphy about it and was concerned about the time frame of the fact that it came after we had already posted the pricing that we have here today. And due to that reason, just decided that it would not be in good faith to be able to accept it at that time. So we kept the prices as they were posted at the work session last week.
Okay, I guess my opinion on it, and I don't really care either way which vendor, I just want the city to save as much money as possible. This wasn't a closed sealed bid it wasn't, and I think that the city has all kinds of flexibility in order to negotiate prices on quotes. And I don't know, did the amended quote come in less than this one?
The quotes were very similar, but the amended quote did come in, and the quote part of it that we're talking about is for the snow blade itself. It was less than what this price is from RDO. They were relatively similar to each other, but it was less. I guess the extra point I would want to make with it, in for good faith of the conversation, is when I was seeking pricing on the snow blade as well as the loader, the company that came back last week with a price on it told me initially they could not get that. That's what I said at the work session last week, that they were not an authorized dealer. They weren't at the time. I sent them specific information on the blade we wanted, and they answered that they couldn't get it. And then after it was on the agenda last week, they called back and said that, no, hold on, we can get it, and then submitted a price lower than the other.
Go ahead.
And that's where, when Reed came to me about that, the one dealership did say that was an error, and that based on that error that they could submit the bid. After looking at the process in its total and how it went, in my opinion, it was not fair at that point for just that portion of it, for coming in less. So with that, I instructed Reed to move forward with it as originally bid. I didn't think it met the criteria for a true step off bid.
And like I said, it wasn't a bid though, right? It was a quote.
Well, it was a quote. However,
I mean the
yeah, I guess my terminology. I guess I'll fix my terminology. It was a quote rather than a bid. However, I am leery in kind of setting that precedent. I mean, granted, it may work out for us in the long run, but it's. But I think that when we do get quotes and we do get prices from vendors, we should get the best one to start with.
Right. I guess
I don't like when they find out what other people bid, then can amend it.
The city is often hamstrung by, this closed sealed bid process where we have to take the lowest bidder. But this, in my opinion, isn't that case. We're clearly in a quotation environment where we should use our advantage and we should negotiate down those prices. I think the proper way to go about it would have been to say, yes, we'll take an amendment to your quote, but then go back to the original low quote or low vendor and say, can you beat this or match it as well? I mean, we should use our buying power to our advantage. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you. I'll take your point. Thank you.
Anybody else have any comments or questions on that?
Just one. Sorry, Mark. Do we have the actual what the other quote would have been? Reed?
I can tell that to you. The price, now this is just the price for the snow blade itself. It's not, I don't have the math done on combining it. But the second price on the snow blade was $13,137.50.
Anything else, Mr. Demers?
No. So it's basically about a $3,000 savings, $2,000 savings on the blade, and then it would have been a $2,000. So you're talking $4,000, probably.
The part of that, and the other part of it is the price from True North Equipment on the loader. I did not ask them for a price to include extended warranty. I added that after I suggested that we would go with RDO. So that would, if we were going to look at True North's price, I would need to go back and ask to consider extended warranty in that as well.
See, and I guess you're making my point is that we go and we negotiate after we put the quote out anyway. So I guess, I don't know. It just seems odd that we wouldn't try to get the best lowest price for what we're going to have.
Anybody else have anything?
Do we want to put it back out?
Is that you, Chad?
If we put it back out,
Does that put you in a situation that you're not going to get it?
I'm not as certain on the snow blade part of it. The loader part of it, it's a Sourcewell price piece of equipment that the Sourcewell contract expires at the end of April. So if we don't move on it at this meeting, we can guarantee ourselves it's going to be at least 1.5% higher the next time around because it'll be on the next year's contract. And that would go for both vendors, True North and RDO, each price the loader on the Sourcewell contract. So if you're concerned about the blade price, that would be my recommendation, is that we move on the loader so that we can get that done this year. And I can certainly go back on the blade side, come back later. Can't promise if it would be higher or lower the next time around, but we can certainly do that.
I guess I'm okay with what we have, not real fond of all of a sudden after going back and being able to look at possibly what was being said here and what was being talked about and then come back to you after. I guess I kind of have an issue with that as well. It's kind of like, well, we could do that. We could do this every other week then with all kinds of things. So I'm okay with it if that's what David thinks is okay. I guess I was just asking that question that we put it back out there and it comes back. I don't know. It just sounds like a game someone's trying to play with us.
Well, and I guess if I could just clarify a little bit, even when we're talking about with quotes and that type of thing, I guess, I think if we have the reputation out there that we are expecting your best price to start with, same thing. I guess we went with a bid or whatever too. Where you have to give us your best price. I think the same thing with the quotes there as well. I just have some unease in where they say we take quotes and then in trying to work them against each other. I'd rather just say, if you want the business, give us your best price and we'll move.
I agree. It's an integrity issue. Let's move on with it.
Anybody else have anything at this time? I see none. We'll take roll call.
Better,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
No.
Motion is carried. Move on to number 4. Regular meeting minutes of Water, Light, and Power and Building Commission for April 1st, 2020. Communication, there's none. Old business, there's none. New business, number 5. Consider adopting resolution number 20-04-26, approving a 3-year extension to the tax abatement for the Valley Golf Association. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Grassel. Is there a second? I'll second it. Discussion or questions?
Mark, I still think we should go back to a 1 year. They've already got 2020, a 1 year 2021. Golf courses are opening. They're going to recoup some of their loss. I think we leave it right at a 1% instead of or 1 year instead of a 3 year.
Chad and Jeff and Brian, are you on the phone? I should have asked that first. Apologize. Just to make sure.
Yep, we're on.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or discussion on that?
I know the motion on the floor right now is for a 3-year extension of the tax abatement, and I would certainly speak in favor of the 3-year time frame. I understand that probably this first year is going to be their biggest hit from a revenue standpoint, but it does not take just 1 year to recover that. It could drag out for a while. You know, this will bleed down their reserves quite a bit, and this will give them a chance to get back on solid ground. They've done, again, just like we said last week, they've done so well to get their fiscal house in order. They've done so well to improve the grounds and make the golf course look great. It really is a community asset. And I know you could make the argument that lots of things are a community asset, but this group leases space from us to provide a service to our community that we believe is good and necessary for people to get out into nature, get out and get some exercise. And it's kind of on par with a lot of the other park and rec stuff that we do, but this one is off to the side and conducted by a separate organization. So if they have come and shown that they need this amount of support running out for 3 years, I will speak in favor of it.
Thank you, Mayor. Anybody else have anything at this time?
I have a couple of questions, Mr. President.
Mr. Demers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we know, are we the only entity that's giving the abatement, or is 595 in Polk County as well? Have they been asked?
Mr. Frost, can you address that, sir?
Yeah, we've asked both entities, the county and the school. I believe I was not part of the discussion originally with that. My understanding was that the school chose not to, but they ended up increasing a fee that's provided to us to use the course to do school activities such as the golf team and the cross country teams. And then the Polk County did not choose to pursue to alleviate that for our benefit.
Okay, thank you. I had a chance to kind of look through the financials a little bit, not a ton because I worked over the weekend, but I appreciate Mr. Gordy getting that to me. Had a couple of questions for the board. Can you describe your profit sharing and stock buyback policies?
That would be a bylaws. The bylaws that I've read through, I have not seen anything that relates to profit sharing. In terms of the buyback, I'd have to do a deeper dive in terms of what the bylaws say specifically. What I do know is there's a considerable, probably I'd say between 10 or 15 stock shares that are for sale. And at any given time, that's a personal transaction people are making with that.
So you're not purchasing stock back? Because in the past years, it looks like there is line items for stock purchase, and it looks like it's like $1,000 a year or a couple $1,000 a year. Are you purchasing people's stock back from them?
No. To my knowledge, we have not purchased anybody's stock back. I believe I'm stretching my understanding, and anybody from the board that's on the call, feel free to interrupt if I'm off base, but my understanding was there was particular stock investments that were made in a numerical amount greater than the $500 or $600 as the standard share price. And I think that was back, I'm guessing here, but I'm thinking it's in the early to mid 70s. The original people that started the association gave a considerable amount greater than the share that we charge right now, which I believe is $500. But you're not required to purchase the stock. You can be a non-stock holding member of the course. Hence, it's technically a public course, not a country club setup. So the end result is the benefit you get out of the stock membership is you get a lower yearly price for your membership that you have to pay. I think
Thank
it's
you.
about
And
$100.
I don't have a budget. I don't have a budget for 2020, but the budget for 19 actually has a line item for profit sharing, and it's a couple $1,000s. So wondering why the city should abate taxes when other entities aren't abating taxes and there's a profit being considered and shared.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at that one specifically, Mr. Demers, to respond back to you. But I don't think there's never been a disbursement of profit to a shareholder. It might have been identified as a performance bonus for the golf course manager. But to my knowledge, sitting on the board the time I've sat here, I've never signed off anything as president nor as a board member distributing profit to any shareholder.
Thank you.
But
go ahead. Looking at the pro shop profit and expenses, does that include the liquor sales or like the bar revenue? Or is that just, golf related items?
we're grabbing one here right now. I think basically what we have is when we do, it does include it, and I think it also includes, if you look at green fees, I'm at a loss because I'm not sure which statement you're looking at. Is it just the year end?
I guess I'm just looking at your 2019 budget.
Annual?
The most recent document I have is a 2019 budget. I don't have, and then some 18 financials.
Okay. So your question was, is the pro shop revenue, we budget against that?
Well, I'm just wondering where the bar revenue and cost fits into this budget. There's nothing that calls it out specifically, so I'm trying to figure out where that is.
In the gross profit, pro shop.
Well, it'd be under revenue, for the revenue side is what he's saying.
Yep, under income, probably gross profit.
We just have it would be under just basically the income category.
So the net profit pro shop includes alcohol or the bar revenue.
Yes.
Yeah, it includes items like the bar. It'll include, like for instance, banquet room revenue. So like when we have graduation parties out here, which we won't have this year because of the situation, that includes within that. And we do try to budget for that as best as possible. Again, I don't have the document up in front of me. I apologize for that.
Yeah, I guess for right now, I'm good. I have kind of the information I need, Mr. President.
Anybody else have any questions?
Mr. President,
Dale?
is there any place in there, or can we just remind them that this probably will be the last time for them to get this abatement? We're not going to do this anymore. And then the other thing is, I would have to agree with the mayor that just because they're going to be able to open up, it's not going to be booming out there anytime real soon, I'm afraid. It's going to take a while. So I think we probably should help them. I'd agree on the 3-year.
Thank you, sir. I think that's the reason why we're looking at the 3 is it'll get them to the end of where everything's done with American Federal and everything else. So they'll be able to move forward from there. So, anybody else has any questions? Speak now. If not, I'll call for roll. Okay, roll call, please.
Vetter,
No.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
No.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
No.
Motion is carried. Number 6, consider adopting resolution number 20-04-27, allowing limited off-sale for restaurants that have been closed by executive order, and authorization will expire when the closure of the restaurants is terminated or rescinded. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Johnson,
Second.
second by Riepel. Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Vetter,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 7, consider adopting resolution number 20-04-28, respectively requesting Governor Wallace to enact a 60-day extension for residential property taxpayers to pay property taxes that meet the criteria without incurring penalty or interest, and to create uniform approach across the state. Is there a motion?
Move.
Moved by Johnson,
Second.
second by Demers. Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Vetter,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 8, consider approving a new hiring process to start a register for the position of police officer.
Move.
Moved by Grassel,
Second. Second.
second by Johnson. Any questions or discussion? See none, roll call, please.
Vetter,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Number 9, consider approving a new hiring process to start a register for the position of administrative assistant dispatcher jailer.
Move.
Moved by Grassel, second by who?
Dale. Helm.
Mr. Helms, seconds. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Vetter,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Claims, consider authorizing the city administrative clerk treasurer to issue payment of recommended bills and payroll.
Move.
Moved by Johnson. Who seconds?
I do.
Mr. Demers? Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Vetter,
Yes.
Helms,
Yes.
Riepel,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Olsted,
Yes.
Grassel,
Yes.
Demers.
Yes.
Motion is carried. Mayor Gander.
First of all, I want to say thank you to our emergency manager, Chief Jeff Bushy, our public works employees, including the department head there, also Water and Light and the department head there. We had a number 8 flood in our city's history, and it was kind of a non-event to the residents of our community. And I want to just say thank you because you all showed up, you fought the flood, and now you're taking apart all the roadblocks and everything else, and we're getting back to normal life, and it feels pretty good. I do have the most recent update from the flood meeting that was held. We're currently at 35.2 feet and dropping. We should drop below flood stage of 28 feet by this Sunday, the 26th. Fire department staffing is all normal, and they're going to discontinue conducting the operational flood meetings. And of course, they always do kind of a final after action review, and that will still happen. But that just tells you we're wrapping up this flood, which was, again, it was kind of a nasty flood, but because of the preparation that we've done and the good work of our crews, it was a non-event. We know in the governor, one of his recent executive orders, he's saying, you know what, we're going to continue staying at home, but he made a clarification that getting out and enjoying parks is a very good thing for all of us right at this time. And some good news on that, as of Tuesday, April 21st, portions of the Greenway trails in East Grand Forks are open for use. All upper trails, which remain dry and clear of debris through spring flooding, are open for use by trail goers. The public is reminded that as river levels recede, there are portions of the trail which remain closed due to water or debris remaining on the trail. When using trails, please stay on clean, dry trails, as mud on the trails and surrounding grass is slippery. Pedestrian bridges on the Greenway remain closed until further notice. Sounds like toward the end of the week they will have everything finally re-inspected and get those pedestrian bridges ready to go, or maybe early next week. You'll see they'll take down some barricades, and you'll know the bridges are good to go. The public is reminded to stay away from high water areas. The Red River itself and all boat ramps remain closed until river levels fall below the 28-foot flood stage. As river levels continue to drop, it will take a couple of weeks for cleaning and inspection of the trails, bridges, and boat ramps before they are reopened. Please continue to check our webpage at www.egf.mn for further updates on trail openings and boat launch. Number 3, the governor did also say he's encouraging people to get out and go fishing. And of course, we also heard that we get to do some golfing if you're a golfer. Please know our park superintendent will get the boat ramps in just as soon as possible. One of the governor's recommendations is for the fishing that we try to stay close to home if we can. And good grief, right here in our backyard, we have excellent fishing recreational opportunities right on the river, and that's coming closer than we think. And finally, I'm so grateful for the work that we did tonight on being able to have the restaurants serve at curbside some of their on-sale beverages. I think that's a great step toward helping them in their economic stability and then now gradual recovery as we come out of the COVID thing. So please, everybody, go get curbside food, and if you're thirsty, grab a beverage or two. And again, thank you to the council and to everybody, even to the legislature, had to make that happen at the state level to give us parity over to Grand Forks. Governor signed it in a hurry, and now we ratify that with our work here tonight. So I think there are some good indicators. The flood is looking good. The spring weather is looking good. And soon enough, we'll have some encouraging news, I think, on the COVID front. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Vetter.
I don't have anything tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Helms.
Just one thing I just want to throw out there, there's a lot of other businesses in East Grand Forks that are probably going to be needing a little assistance too, so keep that in mind, other than just restaurants and bars. Thank you.
Mr. Riepel.
I have nothing tonight. Thank you.
Mr. Johnson.
I believe the mayor said that the Parks and Rec Department was in charge of the boat ramps and whatnot. It is city all connected, but I believe the Public Works does most of that work. If I'm correct in that.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
No, everything's going good. It's open. All the bridges are open. All the streets are open. The underpass is open. Everything's great. Looking better. Sun is shining.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Demers.
Nothing tonight. I guess just a shout out to all the common men and women out there in the city.
Mr. Grasso.
Yeah, just one thing we need to start thinking about, how are we going to approach the fact that if businesses are allowed to open up in North Dakota and they're not allowed to open up in Minnesota, how are we going to handle that? And we probably should have a plan, at least for us, to try to convince somebody that for a border city, that could be disastrous. So I think we need to start thinking about that, because, and I'm sure lots of people have, but I'm just putting it out there that we need to get ahead of that force. So that's it.
Thank you, sir. I have a couple of things. One thing is I'm echo the mayor's comments regarding the resolution we passed tonight to help out the restaurants to back what the legislative did last Friday and the governor signed, which I think is great. Hopefully that does help and alleviate some issues with them here in town. So good luck to everybody. Hopefully we can also make sure that everybody knows that we are delayed on our spring cleanup. I see some people put some things out, and let's make sure we get that word out again that spring cleanup is delayed right now. It's not canceled, but it's delayed until we can get the okay from Grand Forks to bring that over there. So everybody remember that. So other than that, I don't have anything. Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, I just really only have one thing. I just wanted to reiterate again that I am very proud of our staff as far as being able to take a lot of this in stride. I know there's a lot of things that have been thrown at us that we've never seen before and never had to deal with before. And all things considered, I think they're handling it very well. So I just want to say I'm very proud of them.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gulstead.
I don't have anything unless there's any specific questions for me. One thing that I did want to also indicate was that I will be closing on the 7th lot in Water's Edge here this week. So the plan to have builders incentives and to market through the realtors is moving ahead even with the pandemic. So thanks for everybody's help.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Emery on the phone.
And I guess I have nothing tonight unless anyone has any questions for me.
Thank you, sir. Anything from the department heads? I hear nothing. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move.
Moved by Johnson.
Second.
Second by Ray Appel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Means adjourned. Thank you, Net.
I need my black pen over there somewhere. Don't worry, they'll make more. Oh, I know. I dropped it on the floor in the middle of the meeting. But I just carried on.